It's 13 days old, so it counts all right. Now, I was dying a massive death when Fastlane 2019 took place, so here we are 13 days later, going through all the WTF moments for a pay-per-view, which beforehand, before the production meeting, saw a lovely Samaritan drop some LSD in the coffee and sent everybody to the west. It was made up on the spot. Heading into Fastlane 2019, of course, it looked like being one of the most predictable pay-per-views in WWE history. What it turned out to be, of course, was one of the wildest, most predictable pay-per-views in WWE history, because your boy got more right, didn't he? But without any further ado, let's get cracking with all the WTF moments in a video that will include no swearing, which means this video will not get destroyed by the company I work for. Isn't that right, Nigel McGuinness? God bless Nigel for helping content creators the world over, because never before has an F-bomb been so bloody welcome. Let's get cracking with the knacking. Regressive bastard. And next up we have Jonathan Coachman, who reckons he's been at the cinema this week to see Fighting with the Family, because that's how it goes, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. I bet Jonathan Coachman has enjoyed other classics in the cinema, such as Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hip, or Forrest Gimp, or that one where the family have a great time in a car called Chitty Chitty Gangbang content. Now, I know I've brought this up in a previous WTF Moments video, but they still hadn't fixed it by the time Fastlane came around, so here we are once again. The Women's Championship match at WrestleMania suggests WWE there will only be one. Remember Asuka? Aye, she's really good, isn't she? She's the SmackDown Live Women's Champion and deserves a hell of a lot better than that. I know what, WWE, scrap that Fatal 4-way next week on SmackDown Live, have the Women's Championship on SmackDown, defend it in the Women's Battle Royal, and make that thing mean something. Back to Coach we go once again, and according to him, Becky Lynch's road to WrestleMania was very clear until the Royal Rumble. You remember that pay-per-view, don't you? The pay-per-view where Becky Lynch wasn't even booked in the Royal Rumble until the Royal Rumble had actually started. And then after winning that match, and then with her road to WrestleMania looking so clear because the rain had gone, she could see all obstacles in her way. WWE made her right pig's arse, but didn't they? And made everything more complicated than it had to be. So if Jonathan Coachman said that Becky Lynch's road to WrestleMania looked clear between the end of the Women's Royal Rumble and that Raw where Vince McMahon replaced her, we need to have Charlotte, then he would have been right. But he didn't say that, so he's a numpty. He can speak, and he even said Mandy, which means he knows the crack. But it's funny, isn't it? Since this thing happened here, I don't think we've seen EC3 on a main roster show on WWE TV since. Why would WWE call somebody up if they clearly had no plans for the poor bugger? Well, this was weird, wasn't it? EC3 said, I'm EC3. I currently reside between Raw and SmackDown Live, and I'm a little bit of a what they say is a ellipsis. And then in that little gap, you can clearly hear somebody off camera say beer drinker. And I don't know about you, but looking at EC3 and all of that mass, I don't reckon he's seen a beer, let alone drink one. Now I can stand here 13 days removed from this pay-per-view and tell you the culmination of a 3-month lovely, delightful, beautiful program between Andrade and Ronald Mysterious was a kickoff show that got cancelled. That's the bad part. But the good part is all this United States Championship bollocks that took place in the kickoff show made this kickoff show actually worth watching. It was like Sunday Night Heat from back in the day, with things happening that affect the pay-per-view afterwards, making you want to watch more. That's how it should be. More of this, please, WWE. Take some of that marine money, Christian says, and buy George Miz a seat up in the nosebleeds, because that's a distraction the Miz doesn't need. The Miz got paid for them? Oh, slap my arse and call me Gertrude. Christian sat there going, I know something about being a tag team champion in WWE. I've had 9 of them. And Jonathan Coachman pipes up and said, yeah, I've had one. What a knob. Eugene and William Regal, they were the tag team champions in WWE, and because of an injury to Eugene, Coachman replaced Eugene in a tag team championship match, and La Resistance beat the team of Regal and Coachman to win the championships. So that's what Coachman is claiming to be his tag team championship, and that is not how wrestling works. Creep. Well then, it looks like Aleister Black's candles are scented. There he's got one in the locker room, and what other reason could it be than to cover up the smell of protein farts and sweat? Now when you see Aleister Black in the flesh, you see a man who kicks people in the head, the Dutch Destroyer, picture of a devil on his back. That doesn't scream to you, a man who's a fan of cherry blossom scented candles, now does it? Once again, everybody, do not say I didn't warn you, because once again, Shane McMahon with his brow sweating like he's just run 7 marathons back to back to back, has rocked up to a WWE pay-per-view with his own name on his shirt when he's supposed to be in a tag team, the selfish git. While on the other hand, we have The Miz, a wholesome man, a lovely man, a harmless little sheep, a man who doesn't realise what monster he's tag teaming with. He's got both their names on there. Idiot. Now imagine sitting back a few years ago and watching The Miz worm his way out of many, many matches with championships intact and calling him naive. But that's what Shane McMahon's done to the poor bastard. Christian! Who the hell is Asuka? WWE superstar Asuka, Christian. She isn't a city in Japan. She's not even a city in Uzbekistan. She's also not a branch of a Japanese imperial family, or a member of an imperial household of Japan, or a Japanese singer, or anything else Asuka claims to be. And then he reckons that Sasha Banks and Bayley have experienced the highest of highs by becoming the first ever women's tag team champions, ... ellipsis, championships. First of all, Christian, they're not the first ever, are they? And second of all, they're not championships, are they? They're human beings. Nah, it's not real. It's not real, man. You treat it like it's real, but it's not real. That's pro wrestling in a nutshell, isn't it? Anyway, Arsenal went undefeated for over an entire season. 49 games in a row. Bare momentum, fam. That was back in 2004. It's now 2019, and those poor bastards, they still haven't recovered. Momentum is bollocks. Now, if you sent me a sign you took to Fastlane around the time of Fastlane 2019 that's not in this video, I do apologise, but I saw one sign where we are sharing some space with Stephen Larson in some maths that Scott Steiner would be proud of. Cultaholic plus Stephen Larson equals awesomeness. I think that says, it should say that, because that is true. Stephen Larson are wholesome boys.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
So the Miz comes out and he reveals an orange shirt because everyone likes orange shirts in Cleveland or something. Everyone goes wild. However, Corey then pipes up to say there are 365 usable days in a year. I guess the Miz can have one. Sorry, pal. It is not dying on my watch. It's not happening. Every day is still Rusev Day, despite the fact that Rusev is an outdated stereotype of an evil foreigner in a tag team with another evil foreigner. We must boo them because they look and sound different to us. Boo. Mocha! Rusev Day is still a thing, so Miz wears orange shirt day just can't be a thing, Corey, I'm sorry. So the Miz and Shane do a heart attack and Tom Phillips feels the need to pipe up and say, great move, Shane. You bloody brown noser, Tom. Now I know it's the best arsehole in the world. We should all aspire to have an arsehole like Shane McMahon's sweaty arsehole. But Tom, get your nose out of there, man.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Shane is a really proud part of this tag team, Corey says. However, man, Corey, to Shane McMahon, this tag team is like the prom night dumpster baby Shane created on his prom night. He's ashamed to be stooping to this level, man. Corey Graves, just look at his shirt. If he was proud, he'd have Miz and Mac on his shirt, not just Shane McSweaty bollocks. For the first time ever, I think the Miz does a splash off the top rope all the way to the floor, and that is George Miz's face. Because of course, during his 10-year stint in New Japan Pro Wrestling, George innovated moves like the Sasuke Special and the one-arm Spanish Fly. Both moves, of course, named after him. Liven up, man, George, your face, it looks like a disgruntled brick, you ungrateful bugger. And while we're here, we might as well mention George's face while his son was getting the best beatdown in the history of the world, because that was emotionless as well. Maybe that's just his acting style then. He's cool, he's cocky, his face is made of papier-mâché. And then we had the moment of the night, the moment of the year, the moment of the decade, a moment that had me screaming, vindication! But of course the WTF moment isn't the fact that Shane McMahon turned heel. He's been a heel, a delusional, sweaty heel since his return in 2016, and now I'm going to tell you why. Shane McMahon returned to WWE in 2016, 7 years after he turned his back on the company. His dad broke his life to get the level it's been. Yet for some reason, Shane McMahon, the delusional heel, automatically thought he should be running Raw. That's how that works. And then, despite the fact he lost that match to The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell, he was still given the keys to Raw because of reasons. Massive heelish reasons. And then we go to SummerSlam 2016 where the delusional Joe Rogan wannabe stood up to Brock Lesnar because of course a 46-year-old father of three who sweats when he's standing still, they stand up to Brock Lesnar, don't they? Thankfully, however, the dastardly heel Shane received his comeuppance that night, getting F5'd into a pool of Randy Orton's blood. And then, despite the fact he looked at his SmackDown Live superstars in the eye and said, hello lads and lasses, this is the land of opportunity, this is going to be about you and not about the authority figures, Shane, of course Shane, got a Survivor Series 2016 and thought, hey, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin, he's injured, I'll replace him, because of course when your face is as red as a baboon's arse, that makes you a better professional wrestler than a full-time professional wrestler, doesn't it, Shane? Land of opportunity, my arse. And then he took more opportunities from superstars who could have used his opportunities a hell of a lot better than he did by replacing Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. Because of course, everybody, we were gagging to listen to half an hour of heavy breathing every week, weren't we? And then, in a match between AJ Styles and Luke Harper, where the winner went on to face the WWE Champion at WrestleMania, Shane restarted the match to help the heel Harper after his foot was on the rope. But you're probably thinking, but Ross, that's fair, isn't it? No, my friends. Heels are friends with heels in WWE. Heels help out heels. This is something we've been told many times before. But then, with the match restarted, Shane would distract Luke, allowing AJ Styles to win once again. Two heels there, getting their comeuppance once again. Let's speed things up now because I'm boring myself talking about that sweaty bastard. Then we have the fiascos with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, where he inserted himself into many matches as a referee, because of course, Shane McMahon's a better referee than a fully qualified professional wrestling referee. He had that vendetta against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and he should be set on fire for that because Kevin and Sami, as they're proven, are two wholesome Canadian boys. How can you hate them? He fired Paige because big baldy bastard Baron Corbin did a bad job on Raw. He inserted himself into a match he should never ever have been in to crown himself the best in the world at professional wrestling. Something he's clearly believed since he returned in 2016 by taking on all these proper, high-level, top-class WWE superstars and taking them to their limits. Go and watch Crown Jewel WTF Moments for that rant, because I can't be arsed now. And then finally and most recently we have him saying to the Miz's face, Miz, we've got to earn our tag team title shots here on SmackDown Live, before next week he inserted himself into a tag team match at the Royal Rumble for the championships for no reason. Hypocrite. Yet apparently despite all of that evidence, Shane turned heel at Fastlane. He confirmed it. Dun 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 dun. So while this replay was playing, we heard Kevin, let me drop some knowledge on you, brother. In the DJ game, you spin that sheer when someone asks you to spin that sheer. You don't spin that sheer when you want to. You gotta wait. Aye, Drew McIntyre just happened to find a proper expensive camera hooked up to the pay-per-view stream and hooked up to the Tron inside the arena on the floor and picked it up just at the right moment when there was a gap in the show. Now I know it was supposed to look like the old Shield promos from back in the day, but however, man.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
So next up we have Mandy placing Asuka on the mat like a mother would with their newborn baby into a cot. Now, of course, Mandy wasn't meant to do that, but Corey Graves screamed, "That's raw power." Now, of course, over the last little while, Corey Graves has clearly shown he should not be allowed in the same city as Mandy, the creepy bastard, so he wasn't being ironic. He couldn't have been. Or could he? Either way, it was weird for him and his fetish to say that when he did. Ken Barlow cheating on Charlotte Flair with Sonya Deville? Someone call the sheets, will you? So next up we have Asuka, who went undefeated in WWE for several decades, having to rely on a clumsy referee not checking an apron he should have been tidying up to beat Mandy, who of course was a member of Absolution. Oh dear. And didn't really win ever. Now I know that not a lot of people are ready for Asuka, but I am not ready for that bollocks book in there. And while we're here, shame on the commentary team for blaming Sonya Deville for Mandy falling over and tripping over the apron. That's a referee's job. We see it happen every single week. They clean up after wrestlers like mums do with babies and toys. You bugger! That kick made Mandy her own Ross here meme. Well, when you just know it, that pissing picture is there once again, and I think Fastlane 2019 would have been the third show in a row it was on, but since then, I don't think we've seen it since, and I just want to know why. Now, when this moment happened here, I thought to myself, no, we're getting the League of Nations 2.0, despite the fact that nobody wanted to see the League of Nations 1.0. Do not scare us like that again, please, WWE. Charlie Caruso went full heel here. There Bailey was saying a lovely, wholesome message to Kofi Kingston. Kofi, you inspire us. Kofi, keep fighting. Charlie, though, the little arrogant Jezebel, replied to Bailey's comment, straight face, no emotion behind the eyes, so much sass in the voice. Well, that's nice of you, Bailey. Let's talk about how you're not as good as Tamina. What's wrong with her? What's pissed her off so much over the past few weeks? Let me know. But there is no stronger connection than the boss and hug connection. You fought each other bare times, you silly geese. My connection's at the gym, that's stronger than the boss and hug connection, and I've never ever been. The Revival, on a main roster WWE pay-per-view, getting an entrance. Now just keep an eye on your animals right now, because the eye being nigh is not that nigh, but it's still quite nigh, so you should be worried. Now get them though, because the Revival won a main roster pay-per-view match after getting their own entrance. It's over. It's gone. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. Time's run away. The end is nigh. And next up we have Tom Phillips doing what Tom Phillips does best, which is face fornicating the poo out of a line on commentary when he claimed that Samoa Joe winning a championship in WWE was inevitable. A man who Vince McMahon quite literally labelled just a fat Samoan was inevitably going to win a title, was he, Tom?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Andrade had to be what? 10 feet in the air? That's not how that works, Corey. So Andrade sat down on his arse on R-Truth's shoulders is 10 feet in the air. That means that R-Truth's shoulders are 10 feet in the air. R-Truth is not 10 feet and a bit tall. And if he claims he is, everybody, we must call him R-Lie. Mago, 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 mago. So according to Maggle Cole, Bayley and Sasha Banks have never, ever, 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 ever lost a tag team match in WWE, and I'm here to say that's bollocks. Now I did some digging, I learned that Sasha Banks and Bayley have been on the same team in WWE 199 times, but some of those were 6-woman tags, so I can't count them. So for the sake of science, let me tell you one time that the tag team of Sasha Banks and Bayley have lost a normal tag team match in WWE, the 14th of February 2013. They took on the team of Audrey Marie and Charlotte, and they lost. NXT live event, Tampa Bay Arena, Florida. Yeah. So next up we have Betty Phoenix, the Phoenix One, claiming that if a championship changed down to Fastlane, the WrestleMania card will look a hell of a lot different. Well, I wish I'd known that at the time, Betty Phoenix, because I wouldn't have bothered watching the last 2 weeks of Raw and SmackDown Live. And now that I know this to be true, I won't be watching the next 2 weeks of Raw and SmackDown Live, because there's nothing of note going to happen. Betty told us so. I will be watching though. My job. Now I normally leave the botches to Matthew, but I've got to bring this up because Nia and Tamina, the bill is the biggest, strongest women ever, yet they can't catch little teeny tiny Sasha Banks. They dropped her on more than one occasion. I just think that's bollocks. Give me Viper in that role any day of the week. She can wrestle circles around Tamina and Nia and then throw them off a cliff. That's what she'd do.
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee. What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
So Corey Graves says, surprise, surprise, Bayley doing all the heavy lifting at the start of a tag team match so Sasha Banks can swoop in there later on and take all the glory. And then Renee replies, well, Corey, they're going to have to split the difference anyways. You're just picking on things. Because that's how every single tag team match works, isn't it, Renee? Every single match split down the middle, no matter the length, so every single person in the match can have equal time in the ring. No, it's not. Corey was right. And next up, we have the moment where Nia Chuckle almost knocked Tamina Chuckle off the apron. They're the Chuckle sisters, everybody. They're hilarious. So Tamina was on the apron. Nia was going for an off-the-ropes leg drop. When she went off the ropes, she almost sent Tamina flying straight back to Fiji, wherever she's from, in the Pacific Islands.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
It's WrestleMania season, everybody. Everybody's functioning at 11. Well, that's apart from the same 300 superstars who never get used on TV every single bloody week. And I've got to wonder what it's like to function at 11 when you're sat there twiddling your thumbs. Let's try it, shall we? Poor Mustafa Ali. You see a nice teddy bear, so innocent, so wholesome, so pure. Well, Vince McMahon took that teddy bear and he shot it right in the face. Imagine doing what WWE have been doing with Mustafa Ali so far this year, building him up to be one of the biggest underdogs in WWE history, and then throwing him to the wolves like this with unbearable bad booking. Bad booking, of course, which Mustafa Ali somehow took back, put a nice ball and said, "Hell, Vince!" And he threw a snowball of bad booking. WTF moment all round is the point. Ali was put in a no-win situation, yet somehow, through bumping his ass, he came out on top. Well done, Mustafa. Daniel Bryan is supposed to weigh 28 pounds more than Mustafa Ali, when Mustafa Ali is slightly taller than Daniel Bryan, and a little bit, sort of the same width. Now we all know that Daniel Bryan is meant to be vegan, but it's clear that he's packing some serious beef. Oh, this video is going on too long. Professional wrestling is so good. We have a babyface called Kevin Owens shouting at a heel called Daniel Bryan, "Save the planet somewhere else, you idiot." There is literally no other form of anything where Daniel Bryan and his morals and everything he stands for would be considered the bad guy, which just shows you what professional wrestling is and how great Daniel Bryan is as well. Now, of course, not all WTF moments have to be bad things, so I am here giving a curtsy. What am I doing? To Mustafa Ali, who took that there bump off the top rope to the apron without his feet hitting the floor. Flush it was. I just thought myself, bloody hell, I don't think I've seen anybody take that bump without putting their feet on the floor at the same time to try and cushion their fall. Mustafa Ali, you mad bastard, sticking that bad booking up Vince McMahon's arse. I like that. That is how close Kevin Owens came to dying in Fastlane 2019. I reckon that is the same length as one of Kevin Dunn's front teeth. So you're a lucky boy, Kevin. Oh, Dunn. Owens. Owens. She is looking completely the wrong way, which means one of two things. Either Charlotte Flair has no sense of smell, or Rick Martel is actually Del Boy and selling some knockoff stuff that isn't actually what it claims to be. Was anybody else thinking that Becky Lynch should have been literally crying here, like stand on some Lego and bare feet crying? Her knee's in a brace, she needed a crutch to get all the way down to the ring. Charlotte Flair is pulling on her knee like a farmer does a cow's teat. Yet all we're getting from Becky is sort of, how? I'm a hack. Maybe those rumours about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are true, because by doing that, Becky Lynch is clearly learning things from Seth Rollins' wrestling repertoire. How many times have we seen Seth Rollins forget he's injured his knee 5 minutes after he injured his knee? A lot. And Becky's doing it now too, so they're obviously dating. Oh, here she comes, Mrs. WWE. I'm not going by your script and all the fans. I'm not going to please you. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, despite the fact in WWE, I'm booked to legitimately be the baddest one on the planet, when in real fighting, I was shown to be a little bitch. How am I saying these things? I don't know. Why would she call this fake when she's booked to be the toughest thing ever? It makes no sense. Don't hurt us, Ronda. WWE lifted Becky Lynch's suspension because it was best for business, and by doing so, you know that WWE wanted Becky Lynch in that WrestleMania 35 main event because that is best for business too. Yet Ronda, who isn't supposed to be going by WWE script, gave WWE exactly what they wanted. And then we have the fans, who obviously want Becky Lynch in that WrestleMania 35 main event, and Mrs. I'm not going to please you fans pleases the fans. I don't think Ronda's too bright, you know. And in doing what she did, Ronda Rousey made me feel sorry for Charlotte Flair, who had her singles match at WrestleMania screwed out of her. What? Why am I feeling sorry towards the corporately picked heel Jezebel woman 2 weeks, 4 weeks, but 2 weeks before WrestleMania? Oh, there she is again. Mrs. WWE, I'm not listening to your scripts. Point T. Get a good picture. Looking the other way again. Rick, you bloody plonker. So we had Elias play a song so Lacey Evans could walk out so Randy Orton could surprise an RKO on Elias so AJ Styles could surprise a phenomenal forearm on Randy Orton. Forget about Bruce Pritchard and Dana Warrior joining the WWE creative team in recent times. That bloody manatee, you know, the one that writes Family Guy, he wrote that bollocks. What the hell's going on? And there we have 3 men who have no idea who the Shield are. Why are they looking down the aisle when the Shield are about to make their entrance?
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
So according to Renee Young, Dean Ambrose, who of course isn't re-signing with WWE as far as we know at this time, he's not going to leave any page unturned as he runs through all 3 members of 3-man bland. Because Dean Ambrose's performances, his losses, his general not giving an arseness on every single Raw in recent times has told you that's going to happen, isn't it, Renee? It's Lieutenant Drew. Michael Cole eats sweets while on commentary. Who would have thought that would have been a thing? And of course, because it's Michael Cole, every single time he puts a sweet in his mouth, he's got to have a catchphrase. He puts a sweet in, suck it, yeah! Gah! You heard Seth Rollins, Michael Cole said, one last time, Cleveland. That's not what he said, Michael Cole, and because I'm trying to do a show to show Nigel McGuinness how not to swear while you're on YouTube, I can't repeat it. So there. So according to Michael Cole from Survivor Series 2012 when they debuted all the way through to Fastlane 2019, the Shield's mantra has always been all for one and one for all. And that is it for all the WTF moments from Fastlane 2019. Thank God this is over, eh? This has took a while. I am Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com, your Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion, defending this at WrestleMania. Follow me on Twitter and stuff. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can play us to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us